All right, guys, what's going on? We are live. Welcome back. It's Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And today we're going to jump right in because we're pretty excited. We're feeling pretty good. Things in business are kind of starting to solidify here, which is really exciting and really nice to see. And yeah, and the title, I guess, of this video is we booked our first client for our studio. So we're super excited about that. They're going to come in, they're going to record their podcast, and we're going to see what we can do to help them out to make the best possible podcast they can have. So really looking forward to that. And yeah, and it was interesting too because, you know, outside of the videos that I'm doing here on YouTube, obviously we're kind of talking podcast and business and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know who this person is, and they kind of just booked something online through the website. So it was like kind of a surprise because there hasn't been any marketing or anything like that. Again, outside of what we're doing here. So it's really kind of cool. So I'm really super excited about that. Brent, how's it going? Give me a second here. Let me get this where's the comment thingamajigger? Here it is. There we go. Hello. Yeah, how did I book the client? So they basically just, it was, hang on a second. Let me bring some stuff up here. I'm all confused here. I don't have my, what's it called? Teleprompter here. But it was all online, just through the online booking. So just some kind of, random person. So, yeah, through the site. So I have no idea. Haven't talked to them yet. Send them a welcome email. Thank you for booking. Looking forward to seeing you. But yeah, so I haven't heard back. So we'll see. So I don't want to, I haven't done anything yet. So, but yeah, I'll find out details as to where they found me. So it's going to be very interesting to find that out. So, yeah, so starting to roll that in. And I guess what I said too, I think it's in the description or something here, talking about validating the business. And we'll get into this a little bit too here as we're going to go onto the main little presentation I kind of have going on. But there's lots of things that are happening in the past couple of weeks that are starting to suggest that this is actually a really good, like a business plan, and it's a really good business idea and concept, and that it has a really good potential to make us a good chunk of money. So it's really looking good. So super pumped. Brent, maybe something to incorporate into the onboarding on how they found you. Yeah, for sure. It's a good question. Actually, maybe we could even let me see if I can bring something up here. Just a second. Oh man, I have like a million tabs open. All right, let's close all these tabs. And let's go to here. Actually, let's just go to the website. So let me share the screen here. And yeah, I mean, the way it is right now, so if you want to book, you can just pick a time and say you want to book for 2 hours. Yeah, there's nothing, and you just select a time. So whatever, let's just select one for now. And yeah, there's just like a note and a phone number. So I guess I could have a, how did you find us? But for me, I'm always trying to make the process as simple as possible. Would it be nice to know? It would be. But also, if they are going to book, I am going to be able to talk to them in person, so I can get that information in person. So I just want to streamline the process, if that makes sense. Yes, it'd be nice to know even before they book. But, if they're going to come in face to face, it's always nice to talk to people face to face. So I'm not too concerned that I'm not asking for it yet. But again, it's the first one. We'll see how things go. We'll be able to smooth out the process and the whole flow and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll kind of go from there. But again, I'm really just excited because I haven't really told anybody except for just putting it, having the website, and then that's kind of it, and just these YouTube videos. So really excited, really looking forward to it, and really looking forward to working with people and actually helping them, get the word out of the business and the stuff that they're doing. So that is really, really cool. All right, let's get into this here real quick. We just want to go over what happened last week. And so I changed this page here a little bit just to talk about the things that happened last week. So, of course, the goals of 2025, we want to build a media company. And we're approaching this from two angles, right? I do apologize if I'm repeating myself because, I'm not sure if there's new people or old people or whatever, but I kind of just go over this every week. And maybe it's just a good thing for me to remind myself what the hell it is I'm doing to make sure that I'm working towards the common goal or the common good of the business. Yeah, we want to grow a media company, and from two angles. So the first one, of course, is to grow our individual podcast, which we want that to be number one in Canada. Personal development, business kind of angle is what we're going for. And then the second part is to scale Pixel, which is our kind of in-house, in-studio business where we help our clients get more business and do better business by helping them create content. And we're going to focus, of course, on making them a podcast and podcast for them. We went over that, I think, a week or two ago, what all that stuff looked like. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. So, and then I think there's two key stats to take a look at to see where we are. And we have 6 podcasts that have been released so far. And looking at the stats, we have an average of 54 views / downloads per episode. And of course, the goal is we want to get to 1,000. So 54, not too bad. I mean, it could be better. Obviously, it'd be nice to breach that 100. So we're going to have to see how that's going to go. And I'm feeling like the longer we go and the more people we have coming onto their podcast, I think we're getting slowly a slow build up of more and more new subscribers and watchers and viewers, which is really, really nice. Tomorrow we got a great podcast featuring the Honorable Kent Smith, who's an MLA here at in Halifax, I guess you can say, for the provincial government. Not I guess you can say, that kind of actually is him. So had a really great conversation about entrepreneurship and politics as well too. So that was fantastic. It was such a great conversation. So looking forward to that. That's dropping tomorrow. And we'll see how that goes as well too. And I have some plans in work to actually start doing a little bit more of outreach and marketing for the podcast. So I haven't done any of that yet at all. So really pumped about that. And of course, for the Pixel Studio, we need to just track our revenue. I think that's going to be the biggest indicator for how well we're doing, is how much money we're making. And so the goal is we want to get to 3,000. It's a little bit small here, so hopefully you guys can see that 3,000 just in gray here. Our goal is to get to $3,000 a month. And so far this month, we're at $150. So, it's better than zero. So we're starting, and we're hoping here, or I'm definitely hoping here in the next couple months to really start ramping up that number significantly. So looking forward to that. And we'll get into some of the activities I'm going to be doing to try to do that as well. So last week, what did we do last week? We created and released a one YouTube video newsletter, which comes out on Monday, as we do every Monday. I think this video was, it's on the YouTube channel, something about like why I'm doing this, why I want to make $1 million. And of course, the reason really is, you could say money, which is kind of an obvious answer, but it's not really about money. For me, it's kind of about freedom and the ability to do whatever it is that I want whenever I want. So check out the video. I guess it's here on this YouTube channel, if that's of an interest to you. And of course, we want to do a live stream. We do a live stream every Monday, so that's pretty easy. It kind of just checks itself because I'm here every Monday kind of recapping the business. Okay, we filmed and edited 2 podcast episodes. Oh man, that was a lot of work last week, but we got them done and edited over the weekend, which was kind of annoying, but hey, the life of the entrepreneur, kind of always working. Then we prepared one podcast, doing all the things like uploading them, getting the artwork done and blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, doing like one episode, it's so much work, guys. It's crazy. So you think it's like, oh, just sit down and talk. It's like no editing or whatever required. It's like, nah, there's a lot of work. It's quite a bit. Anyways, that's okay. Happy to do it, and got that ready. So we have again that one coming out tomorrow, and another one the week after as well too. But I'm not gonna post that one up just quite yet. Anyways, whatever. So on the pricing here in Halifax, or I guess not in Halifax, all of Canada. Our gracious government has given us a tax relief of 1% off the carbon tax or whatever. I don't know, whatever garbage is that they're doing, but our tax rate is now 15% instead of 14%, which is actually really annoying because now I have to go into like all the stuff that people buy for me through Stripe or whatever. I just have to update the tax rate, at least through the calendar booking, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, had to do all that garbage. And yeah, so we did some initial preliminary work on the new website and the new layout. So we have our website, We have our website right here, which just has the studio page, which is just a home page, and then has a pricing page, and then it has like this learn to podcast page. So all this stuff needs to be fleshed out a whole lot more. So we went last week, I think it was, and we laid out the whole outline for the new website. So need to get to work in getting that updated as soon as possible to kind of showcase all the different offerings and stuff we're going to be giving for our clients. So we need to work on that. Super important. But we did that anyways. This is what we did last week. So last week we also talked about 2 new clients about the new services we want to offer, right? So we're talking about creating content for our clients to help them generate more revenue or to do whatever it is to improve on their business activities. So I talked to 2 clients about that last week, and one of them was they could really use it, but there's going to be some more salesy type stuff that I'm going to need to do in order for them to really kind of understand the value and what it could mean for them as an organization. It'll be super awesome for them, but it's going to be a little bit more massaging. So documenting kind of that process behind the scenes. And when it gets to the point when it makes that sale, then I'll let you guys know how that goes. But for the other clients, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be helping her out for free. And she's going to come to the studio. We're going to record content. We're going to create shorts and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to take a look online in her website and the funnel. And we're going to create kind of this whole new marketing content, scheduling and flow on the website to help her sell more of her product. And so I'm going to be doing all this stuff for free. This is going to be really good for me to help figure out all the kinks and the stuff that I want to do and offer my clients. And then we also worked out that we just said, hey, listen, if you get any sales from this, then how about, because you're not paying me, how about we do like a 10% royalty? So every time I help her make a sale, then that's 10%. And her product, I think the first ticket starts at like $3,000. So that'd be like $300 every time I can help her make a sale. So incentive for me to work really hard to help her do really well with starting to create content for her business. So that's going to be hopefully that'll be a really good testimonial and proof of concept for me to actually help somebody make money with creating content. So looking forward to doing that over the coming weeks. Also create a busy week last week. Also created 11 YouTube shorts from podcast number 5. Still trying to catch up on that. And then of course I have my original OG clients whom I love, but I still have work to do for them because they pay me and I need to get that stuff done. So I wanted to talk about a couple lessons learned here from last week. I haven't done this before, but I think it's really important to kind of really keep track of things that really stick out in mind and that I need to make sure that I have like operating procedures or whatever written down. Halil, hi, welcome. Live long and prosper. Prosper. How you doing today? Happy Monday. Good to see you here in the stream. Anyways, really important to learn to keep track of lessons learned. So I have a third one here. I didn't finish writing it. We'll write it here in a second. All right. The first one, make sure your damn memory cards in your camera are formatted, or in other words, there's enough space in them when you start recording a podcast. And thankfully, it was literally right at the end, so I only missed one scene or one like little, answer to a question. But it could have been a disaster because I'm here in the studio all by myself, and if the camera dies, like I have to make sure I can hear the beep that, hey, the memory card is full. Anyways, almost a huge disaster, but super like I have a checklist of all the stuff that I need to do before someone comes in to record. Now I need to make sure that goes on it. Super, super important. And another thing too, this kind of came out from talking with somebody that was also on the podcast, and I guess you guys will see this kind of lesson in a couple weeks. When you're thinking about pricing and how to price your services, it's kind of important to always thinking about how much money your target customer can actually pay. So as an example, I was thinking here of starting prices about $5,000 a month for doing this content creation for customers. But then it just gets you thinking of like, okay, well, if your target customer is only making like $8,000 a month or $10,000 in revenue, there's a good chance that $5,000 will be too much for them, unless there's a way to demonstrate that if they spend that $5,000, I could help increase their revenue by like another 10,000 or another 10 or 15,000 or something like that, right? So it's just important to keep that in mind of what you're charging and what the customer can realistically pay. and what you think you can realistically deliver to the customer. Because I would love to have a risk-free 30 days and we get you results kind of thing, but that's a little bit into the future because I can't guarantee anything like that now. But I would absolutely love to be able to take on that risk and do that with clients. And even as I'm going to work with this one person doing this work for free, being able to structure deals to get commission based on how many more sales I can get a client. Those are other ways that we can make contracts to do deals with potential clients. If I see the value in their brand and their business, and I think that I could really help them elevate, but they might not have the money, then I was like, okay, well then I'll take 20% of your revenue in the first year or something like that, right? So lots of ways to do deals. Just keeping the mind open for who you're trying to target and what they can afford. And the third one is this one. I'm going to write this down here. Let's get out of here. I think actually it's right in here. Come on. There we go. Okay. This is a big one. Well, not that big one, but it's really annoying. So stop feeling what's the word I want to say? Small gaps. And then also avoid let's say ums and ahs. So yeah. So I noticed this especially when I was doing my last podcast. I've gotten better at this, but whenever they're talking, I have a tendency to just say like, yep, or yeah, as they're going, just so they know that I'm hearing or listening. But then it always gets picked up in the mic, and it just really sucks because then when you want to just listen to a podcast, you as the listener doesn't want to always hear someone being like, yep, yeah, I understand, okay, yeah, got it. Like, it's stupid. So I need to stop doing it. And then when I'm asking a question, sometimes I'll be like, so tell me, avoid the ums, avoid the ahs. Easier said than done, but something that is on my mind constantly, and it's just something that I know that I need to work better at. So that's a lesson from last week. Okay, what are we working on this week? Very quick here. Weekly newsletter, as always, going out every week. So got to do newsletter, got to do the YouTube video, the live stream. That's like basically I'm doing that right now for this week. So that's kind of done. Podcast coming up on Tuesday. That's ready to go. Prepare episode 8 to be released on next Tuesday. That's on the 22nd. So that one's almost done. The editing is done, but now I need to do the timestamps and some of the content. So got to get that done, but that shouldn't be shouldn't take too long. Create shorts from the episode 6 and 8. That's going to take a lot longer. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get all that done this week, but I'm going to try because this thing here, finalize the website. That's super important. I want to get that live as soon as possible. So I'd love to get that done by next week. So we'll see. And part of that too is talking about, I've been kind of planning this whenever I kind of have some time, but I want to plan these in-person, well, at least I'll start with one in-person workshop where people are going to come right in here into the studio, and we're going to teach them how to do a podcast, how to record themselves on video, content creation or whatever. And we're talking like really high level, as in I've never made content before. I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to be teaching people, not that I can anyways. I was going to say like how to shoot a movie like Steven Spielberg, because I don't know how to do that. But I do know a little bit, at least, about creating YouTube videos, live streaming, podcasting, all that kind of stuff, right? So I think I have the knowledge that people can come in, we'll do a free workshop, show them the gear, show them the equipment, all that kind of stuff, and get people used to being in front of the camera, creating their own content. And then, of course, hopefully from there, they're going to want to come to the studio, and then they're going to kind of just use my equipment and use the studio that's here, and then use that to help build their business, and then become an even bigger client because they're going to want to get even more money, and then they're going to want to work with me where I can help them create all the content for them, get guests, do all that stuff that they don't have to do. And then as CEO, they can just focus on doing what they need to do to get their business better, right? So thinking the whole sales funnel and all the different points of contact and how we're going to be able to drive people into Pixel, into our podcast, all that kind of stuff. So super excited about that. We got to keep working on that, keep planning that. And along the same lines is we're going to start a new YouTube channel for Pixel Media, and that's going to be dedicated to education, and it's going to be education on all things. I don't know if it's going to be all things content creation or all things podcasting. So it might be a mix of how to start a podcast if you're a business, the benefits of starting a podcast as a business, how to incorporate that into like maybe your website to get your whole sales funnel and get everything into play. I don't know if there's anybody out there that does that holistic approach to how to take a podcast and then turn that into like paying customers at the end of the day, because that's what I'm going to be doing for my clients, and that's what I want to do. And that's what I want to showcase on these YouTube videos. So still working that out, trying to figure that out, planning content, because when I do release, I want to make sure that I have a good chunk of content kind of ready to go. So, because I know I'm going to really start getting busy here in the summer and all that kind of stuff. So, but we do want to keep releasing that content and keep doing basically that marketing work to bring people into our sales funnel, right? So really excited about that. It's like, finally, I feel like when I'm going to be creating YouTube videos, that there's going to be a legit purpose as to why. And there's a clear reason for why that video or those videos I'm going to do, why they exist. I'm loving the clarity. I'm loving the straightforward focus of the things that we're doing. It only took like 2.5 years to get to this point, guys. But we're doing good. At least I feel like I'm doing good. I'm super happy, super pumped. But anyways, and the last thing on the list is I'm trying to connect with 5 people to invite them to be on the podcast. So I'd love to get a couple more guests, obviously booked probably around in April, end of April or mid-May. So we need to start doing that again, because if I don't keep that up, then, I'm going to run out of guests. And we don't want to run out of guests either. So yeah, so I think, that's it. That's all I have for my presentation and how things are going in the business. But overall, like I've been saying, really excited. I feel like things are turning the corner in terms of having purpose, in terms of actually making some revenue now. And we're just going to keep moving forward. So another thing too that I need to get done that I haven't mentioned yet is this studio is actually going to change, in that I don't think I'm going to be doing my live streams from this studio anymore. And I'm probably going to have to move my desk setup where I actually do my work to somewhere else in the house, because now that I'm having people come into this studio, I need to have a dedicated desk set up for the audio engineer to be, I don't know what that's in quotes, but the audio engineer to be here sitting down, monitoring the cameras, monitoring the audio, and making sure that everything is recording and doing its thing. And I don't want to have to rearrange this desk setup every time, because the podcast studio, of course, like it's back here, it's a little messy. Can't really see it. But anyways, if you've seen the podcast, you kind of know what it looks like. So it's all back there, but this here up the front is the desk that I work, but it needs to be turned over and all the equipment needs to be brought on here. Whatever, I don't want to be moving that around every single time. So I got to figure out where I want to move my desk and where I do my live streams and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're going to have to create another space in the house as like a dedicated content creation space. So really excited about that too. So yeah, anyways, lots of things going on. So how are things going with you guys? I hope your business and the things that you're doing are going well. And yeah, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I'm in the mood to talk business. I'm just filled with this energy. So I know there's a few people here in the stream though. Guys, if you have any questions or whatever, just feel free to throw them in the chat, because I feel like I don't want to stop talking, but yeah. So is there anything else that I want to cover? I think so. We're getting close to 5 o'clock here, and I do need to reach out to someone who's going to be a podcast guest. I don't have that on the notes, but I need to do a show flow for them. So I need to get that ready before game time. Game time, of course, I'm a hockey fan, a Habs fan, so they're playing Chicago. Hopefully they can clinch a playoff spot today. So that's looking pretty good. Super excited about that. So if there's any questions or anything that comes up here in the chat, I think I'm going to end it here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So thank you guys. Brent, Halil, thank you so much for stopping by, saying hello. Really appreciate the support. You guys are amazing. Love to always see you guys here in the stream. Everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. And as always, I'll be back here again for a brand new stream on Monday. Have yourself a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Monday.